Dear participants, welcome to the 10th and final lesson of our training. So far in the training, we have learned how European Union funding works and how to determine which program is suitable for our organization and project idea. We explored in more detail the opportunities offered by Interreg, Erasmus+, CRV, and Creative Europe. We also learned where to find current funding calls and how to use the Funding and Tenders portal to identify and analyze specific opportunities. We now have the foundation to move on to the next step, preparing the project itself. In this lesson, we will focus on Interreg cross-border cooperation programs, which combine elements of both approaches. We will also explore Jems, the specialized platform used for submitting applications and managing projects under Interreg programs. Before you start working with the Jems system, the first mandatory step is to create a user account. Unlike some other systems, access to Jems is restricted and requires registration. Registration involves creating an account using an email address and password, after which you can access the relevant program. For example, Interreg, Romania, Bulgaria. It is important to use an official organizational email address and to create the account for the appropriate person within the organization, as this account will be linked to all future project applications. After successfully registering and logging into the system, the first thing you see is the dashboard, the user's main interface. At the top of the page, you will find the Interreg program logo and information about the specific program, in this case, Interreg Romania Bulgaria. This shows that Jems operates at program level, rather than as a single platform covering all funding opportunities. The dashboard contains the main sections for working in Jems. In notifications, you receive messages related to your projects. In My Applications, you can view the project applications you are working on, while the Call List section displays the open calls for proposals. From the call list, you select the appropriate call for proposals. After selecting a call, you can start creating a project application. The system will create a new application, which will appear in the My Applications section. This marks the beginning of the actual work on your project application. However, Interreg has one important requirement. Projects are developed jointly with partners from different countries. Therefore, the partnership should be established before you begin completing the application form. The application form in Jems is structured differently from those used in other systems. It includes sections covering areas such as project partners, activities, results, and budget. Particular emphasis is placed on cooperation between the project partners. At this stage, we will not go into the detailed completion of the application form. Instead, we will review its structure in order to understand the logic of the application process. One of the first and most important sections is the Partners section. In Interreg projects, there is always a lead partner and at least one additional project partner from another country. The lead partner bears the main responsibility for the project and coordinates its activities. Therefore, it is important to enter the partner information correctly in Jems. The next important section is the project description. This is where you define the project objectives, the problem to be addressed, and the expected results. It is important to clearly demonstrate why the project has cross-border added value. In other words, why it needs to be implemented jointly by partners from the participating countries. This is one of the key features that distinguishes Interreg projects from other types of EU-funded projects. In the Activities section, you describe the specific actions that will be implemented within the project. These activities should be logically linked to the project objectives and lead to concrete results. It is important to demonstrate how the partners work together, rather than carrying out their activities independently. Jems also requires clearly defined results and indicators. These are measurable indicators used to demonstrate the project's achievements and success. They are linked to the specific program and are often predefined by the program. Selecting the appropriate indicators is a key element in developing a strong project application. The budget section is one of the most complex parts of the application. It includes the allocation of costs among the project partners. Each partner has its own budget, which must be justified by specific project activities. This requires effective coordination among all partners involved in the project. Jems also includes a project management section, which describes how the project activities and partners will be coordinated. This includes communication, decision-making processes, and monitoring of project implementation. Effective organization and coordination are essential for the successful implementation of the project. The system allows the project application to be completed gradually and saved at different stages. This makes it possible to work collaboratively as a team and to review the application before its final submission. It is important to make use of this functionality and not leave everything until the last minute. Before submission, it is necessary to conduct a comprehensive review of the entire project application. This includes checking all sections and all information entered into the system. Project description, planned activities, expected results, and budget. The system can flag missing information, but it does not assess the quality of the content. Therefore, the final review is extremely important. In this course, we have explored the main funding opportunities offered by the European Union. We have seen that EU funding is not a single, uniform system, but is implemented through different systems and funding mechanisms. We explored two main platforms, EU funding and tenders and Jems. Each of which has its own logic, requirements, and approach to the application process. The most important conclusion is that success depends not only on having a good idea, but also on choosing the right program, being well prepared, and understanding the application process. European funding provides real opportunities for development, but it requires strategic thinking, careful planning, and commitment. Successful organizations are those that do not simply apply for funding, but understand how the system works and use it strategically. With the knowledge gained from this course, you now have the foundation needed to take your first step towards successful participation in European projects. The next step is up to you to apply this knowledge and make informed decisions about participating in European programs. European funding is not a matter of luck, but of preparation.